Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us down a really interesting rabbit hole this time, urethane dumbbells. Specifically, are they the smart choice for your fitness setup in, say, 2025?
Absolutely. And we've been, really digging into the review you shared. It covers quite a range of these urethane sets.
Right.
So our mission today basically is to pull out the key info from that review for you, help you understand the real benefits, the differences.
Hopefully avoid some costly mistakes down the line.
Exactly. Equip you with what you need to make a good choice.
And this wasn't just a quick look, was it? The review you shared mentioned it analyzed, over 50 product specs?
Yeah, over 50 specs, more than 300 user reviews, even durability studies from the industry, so it's pretty comprehensive.
Okay, solid ground then. Let's get into it. Urethane dumbbells. They're popular, but that review tackled the big hurdle first, the cost. They can be like $2.80 more per pound than standard rubber ones. Yeah. That's a lot.
It is. No denying that initial sticker shock, but the review does a really good job framing it as long-term value. It breaks down 3 key reasons why that extra cost might actually pay off for you.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the first big reason?
It's this really interesting 10-year cost analysis.
Okay, so how does spending more now save money later?
Well, the thinking is urethane dumbbells are built to last. We're talking 10 years, maybe even more.
Okay.
Rubber dumbbells, on the other hand, the review suggests you might be replacing those every, say, 3 years or so.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Exactly. So over that decade, the analysis estimates you could actually save over $1,200 by not having to replace the cheaper rubber ones multiple times. It's total cost of ownership,
That definitely puts the price in perspective. Okay, longevity is a huge plus.
Yeah.
What was the second benefit the review highlighted?
Odor control. Or maybe lack of odor.
Right. That rubber smell.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in home gym, right? The review points out urethane gives off basically 0 VOCs, those volatile organic compounds. Rubber, though, can off-gas quite a bit. That's where that new tire smell comes from. Some people really hate it. So urethane just makes for a nicer training space.
Definitely. Can't argue with that. And the third key reason from the review?
Space efficiency. It sounds minor, but urethane dumbbells tend to be more compact, like around 15% smaller than the equivalent rubber dumbbell.
15%. Does that really make a difference?
Well, the review argues it can, especially for certain exercises, maybe like snatches or cleans where you need a bit more room to maneuver. That smaller profile can actually improve your range of motion.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about the range of motion aspect. Okay, so cost over time, no smell, smaller size. Any other performance edges mentioned? Like how tough are they really?
Yeah, they touch on the ASTM F2216 standard. It's a durability test.
Okay.
And the results showed urethane could handle about 2.3 times more drops than rubber before cracking.
2.3 times?
Yeah, so if you're lifting heavy, maybe doing CrossFit or something where drops happen, that extra toughness is a pretty big deal. It's just a more robust piece of kit.
Okay, I get the why urethane argument now. So the review you looked at then recommended specific models for 2025, 7 of them.
That's right, 7 top picks, each sort of pegged for a specific type of user or gym.
Let's run through them. First up, REP Fitness Urethane-Coated Round Dumbbells. The review tagged these as best for powerlifters and garage gyms. Why them?
Okay, REP. The review highlights their 2.5 millimeter military grade urethane, pretty tough coating. And they have a 32 millimeter Olympic chrome handle.
32 millimeter, that's on the thicker side.
Yeah, good for grip strength, which powerlifters often want. But the big thing mentioned was the weight accuracy. Just 0.98% variance claim.
Less than 1%, that's precise.
Super precise. If you're tracking every single lift, that matters. Plus, they offer a lifetime residential warranty, which is great peace of mind for a home gym setup.
Makes sense. Okay, next. XMark Chiseled Urethane Hex Dumbbells. Best for CrossFit and HIT, according to the review. What's the logic there?
Well, the hex shape is obvious, right? It stops them rolling around mid-wood.
Definitely needed for HIIT.
For sure. They also have 25 LPI knurling. That's lines per inch on the handle grip.
Okay.
25 LPI is kind of a middle ground, grippy enough, but not so sharp it tears up your hands on high reps. The review also mentioned 500-pound crush resistance and, interestingly, chamfered edges?
Chamfered edges?
Yeah, like slightly beveled edges on the hex ends. Apparently, this came up in the Reddit home gym community discussions, helps prevent damage if you drop them on your floor.
Oh, thoughtful. Good detail. Okay, third on the list. Rogue Fitness Urethane DB-15s. The review positioned these as best for commercial gyms. Built tough, I assume.
Extremely tough, it seems. They use a thicker 3mm dual-layer urethane and through-bolt construction, meaning the handle goes all the way through the heads and is bolted on the end. Very secure.
Sort of like a tank, then.
Pretty much. Weight tolerance is tight, too, plus or minus 1%. The review mentioned Rogue's partnership with Sorinex, another big name in high-end equipment, suggesting these meet serious commercial standards.
Okay.
Oh, and UV stabilization was mentioned, good for gyms with big windows, prevents the sun degrading the urethane, and get this stat, 92% less coating wear after 1,000 drops compared to others.
92%. Wow. Okay, that is commercial grade. All right, moving down the price ladder maybe. Yes, for all Urethane Pro Series, tagged for the budget-focused buyer. How do they cut costs?
Primarily, they use a slightly thinner coating 1.8mm urethane. Still decent, but not as thick as the Rogue or REP.
Makes sense.
They still have anti-rust handles, through bolts on the heavier weights, like 55 pounds and up. And the price point mentioned was around $2.10 per pound. Definitely the most affordable here.
But is there a catch?
The review included a little caution. Probably best not to repeatedly drop the heavier ones, say over 50 pounds, from overhead. Just something to bear in mind for certain training styles.
Good heads up. Okay, number 5. Titan Fitness Urethane Power Dumbbells. These were labeled best for all-around training. What makes them versatile?
They seem to hit a nice middle ground. The knurling is 20 LPI, a bit less aggressive than the XMark, maybe, good for variety. They mention reinforced weld points, rated at 900 PSI, so good construction.
PSI rating. Interesting.
Yeah, it indicates weld strength. The handles are 28mm, which is a bit thinner, often preferred for things like curls or raises, more precision maybe.
Right, easier to grip for some movements.
And Titan offers a 45-day trial, which is a nice bonus. Lets you really see if they fit your training.
A trial is always good. Okay, next, the Vulcan Absolute Urethane Set, recommended for complete home gyms. What's the deal with buying a full set like this?
Well, this particular set goes from 10 to 50 pounds and 5-pound jumps, so it covers a huge range of exercises and progression right out of the box.
Yeah.
And buying the set saves money. The review estimated about 18% versus buying pairs individually. They also mention features like compatibility with storage trays and a solid 5-year commercial warranty.
5 years commercial? Pretty good.
And a key detail, vulcanized bonding. This process basically fuses the urethane to the metal head, preventing moisture from seeping in, which can cause dumbbells to fail over time.
Ah, good technical point.
Oh.
Okay, last one, Sunny Health and Fitness Premium Urethane Series. This one had a very specific recommendation. Ideal for rehabilitation and physical therapy. Why so specialized?
A few things cater to that. They have these ergonomic parabolic handles designed for comfort. The weight range is lighter, 5 to 25 pounds, but crucially, it uses 2.5-pound increments.
Smaller jumps for rehab.
Exactly. Perfect for really gradual progression. They also have a non-porous antimicrobial coating important for hygiene in a clinical setting,
Right.
and a flared base for stability.
Makes sense.
And the review cited clinical studies showing these handles reduced grip strain by 28% compared to standard dumbbells. That's a huge benefit for someone recovering from an injury.
28% less grip strength.
Yeah. That's significant. Okay, great overview of the top picks. The review also gave advice on how you, the listener, can evaluate any urethane dumbbell, right? 5 key things to check.
Yep. 5 must checks. First is knurling depth and pattern.
We touched on LPI lines per inch. What else matters?
Well, the pattern itself.
Yeah.
Diamond knurling, the review noted, might offer about 12% better grip when you're sweaty compared to, say, a hill or volcanic pattern. Parabolic handles, like Sunny's, focus more on ergonomics, so it depends on what you prioritize, pure grip or comfort. 20-25 LPI is a good general range, though.
Okay, knurling check, number 2.
Weight accuracy. We saw REP claiming under 1%, Rogue at ±1%. The review stressed that top brands keep variance under 2%.
And how do you verify that?
Ideally, look for mentions of third-party lab testing in their product info. That adds a layer of trust beyond just the manufacturer's claim. Consistent weight is key for balance training, after all.
Absolutely. Third evaluation point, coating thickness. You mentioned ranges earlier. Right. 1.8 millimeters is sort of entry-level urethane, fine for careful home use. Up to 3.0 millimeter is more commercial grade, built for repeated drops and heavy use. So match the thickness to your likely training intensity and carefulness, maybe.
Fair enough. 4th check.
Warranty. Big difference between a lifetime residential warranty like REP offers and a shorter, maybe 5-year commercial warranty like Vulcan's. Just know what you're getting based on where and how you'll use them.
Got it. And the 5th and final check.
Handle diameter. As we discussed, it affects grip and muscle activation. The review suggested 28-30 millimeters, often good for precision exercises, needing a secure grip.
Like curls or lateral raises.
Exactly. Whereas thicker handles, 32-34 millimeters, like on the REPs, are often preferred for power movements, presses, rows. They challenge your grip more.
Okay, that's a super helpful checklist. Now, to really hammer home the differences, the review included that side-by-side data. Urethane versus rubber. What were the starkest numbers there?
Okay, so the comparison table, based on 2025 estimates. Cost per pound urethane, $2.42 to $3.10 versus rubber, $1.22, $1.80. Big difference up front.
Right, we established that. But the lifespan.
Exactly. Average lifespan estimated urethane, around 12,000 lifts. Rubber, maybe 4,500 lifts. That's a huge gap in durability.
Yeah, that really changes the value equation. What about noise? Big deal for home gyms.
Big difference there, too. Dropping a 50-pound weight, urethane measured around 68 decibels. Rubber was significantly louder at 82 decibels.
14 decibels. That's quite noticeable.
Oh, yeah, especially if you've got downstairs neighbors or sleeping kids. And finally, maintenance.
Easier for urethane.
Seems so. The review suggested urethane just needs a monthly wipe down. Rubber, being more porous, might need cleaning weekly to prevent grime buildup.
Less work, lasts longer, quieter, but costs more initially. That seems to be the trade-off.
That's the gist of it, yeah.
The review also pulled some practical tips from the Reddit home gym community. Real-world stuff.
Yeah, 3 useful nuggets. First, even though urethane doesn't really smell, the Reddit folks suggest an occasional wipe with a 50-50 vinegar water mix just to keep things fresh and clean.
Simple enough. Tip 2.
Storage. Vertical racks are popular, obviously, but using anti-slip mats under the rack can apparently save up to 40% floor space compared to horizontal racks. Great tip for small spaces.
40%. Nice. And the last tip.
Buying strategy. Keep an eye on big sales events like Amazon Prime Day. The community reports seeing savings of 15, even 20% on dumbbell sets during those times. Worth planning ahead if you can.
Smart shopping advice. Okay, almost wrapping up. The review addressed some FAQs for newer lifters, too.
Quick ones, yeah, like are they worth it for beginners? The review argued yes, mainly because of that durability. You buy once and they grow with you as you get stronger.
Makes sense. What about using them outside?
It depends. UV-stabilized ones, like the Rogue model mentioned, handle sun better. But generally, keeping any dumbbell inside is best for longevity. Prolonged outdoor exposure isn't ideal.
Okay. And weight increments, what's generally sufficient?
The review suggested for most people, having pairs from 15 up to 50 pounds in 5-pound jumps covers the bases for most exercises and allows for steady progression.
Good guideline. So let's bring this all home. Why should our listeners care about all this urethane dumbbell detail for their 2025 fitness plans?
Well, the review frames it as removing barriers. Good equipment that lasts, doesn't stink up your space, and performs well. It just makes it easier to be consistent, right? You're investing in making your training smoother, more enjoyable.
Investing in consistency, I like that.
And knowing a quality set with proper care could genuinely last you a decade or more. That's a solid foundation for your fitness journey.
Right. And just to recap the review's top recommendations again. For most people, balancing cost and performance, the REP Fitness Urethane seemed to be the pick.
Yep. And for the best value, if you want a complete set covering a wide range, the Vulcan Absolute Urethane Set got the nod.
Okay, so we've dug deep into urethane dumbbells thanks to the review you shared. Lots to think about.
For sure. Ultimately, it comes down to your own goals, your budget, how and where you train. There's no single best for everyone.
Exactly. Which leads us to our final thought for you, the listener. Given the long-term savings potential, that impressive durability, and maybe just a nicer overall training experience, how might investing in a quality set of dumbbells truly impact your commitment and consistency, not just for 2025, but for many years beyond? Something to think about. Thanks for diving up with us.